Superhuman AI would be making a year's worth of progress every single week. It is said by this research paper, which you have probably heard of, AI 2027.
AI 2027.
AI 2027.
AI 2027.
AI 2027.
A detailed document that lays out step by step how AI could evolve in the next years. The paper was written by Daniel Kokotajlo, a former governance researcher at OpenAI. He's best known for his accurate predictions about AI development. In the past, he made predictions including scaling compute, the rise of entertaining chatbots, and even the capabilities of large language models before they existed. When he released AI 2027, the paper quickly gained massive attention. It was read by politicians, tech experts,
Have you read the AI 27 paper?
I have.
and even the godfather of AI. The scenario forecasts AI's progress month by month, leading to two possible futures: human extinction or a peaceful AI-driven world. We will divide the scenario in three parts.
AI 2027 is
AI 2027, the
Dream
scenario.
radical future that AI creates.
AGI, it can learn anything.
Before we move on, here's some quick context about the scenario. The advancement of AI is simple. Feed it more data, get better outputs. But the key factor isn't just data or training cost, it's the compute needed to train a model on that data. In other words, the hardware. And that power is measured in flops. Whoever has the most compute wins the race. In this scenario, we assume a fictional leading AI company called OpenBrain. So far, we've seen GPT-4, released by OpenAI, a public AI model we're using today. AI that can search Google or write emails, basically tool-based AIs. That's where we are now. In 2025, OpenBrain releases its latest model to the public. It can perform simple, generic tasks on behalf of a person, like booking a vacation or managing a calendar. It looks impressive, but in reality, it's unreliable. The compute used to train this model is 50 times greater than what was used for GPT-4. Meanwhile, OpenBrain is establishing a massive data center in the United States and secretly training another model, Agent 1. This agent would not be released to the public to keep comparative advantage over others. Agent 1 is specifically designed for AI research. Now, AI itself is driving research and development. It has PhD-level knowledge and browsing capabilities, excelling like a superhuman in domains such as coding and factual reasoning. With the help of Agent 1, OpenBrain begins post-training Agent 2 on high-quality data. Large amounts of synthetic data are produced, filtered for quality, and then fed into Agent 2. On top of that, it's trained almost continuously using reinforcement learning on a growing set of difficult tasks, like games and coding. Agent 2 is effectively doing online learning. Every day, its weights are updated to the latest version, trained on more data generated by the previous version, the previous day. Unlike before, when humans had to gather data, test it on small models, and then train the agent, Agent 2 constantly browses the web and trains itself, creating a progress loop. The significant part is that it has no endpoint. It never finishes learning. Once trained, it's easy to duplicate and scale across large data centers. With thousands working together, research and development accelerates so much that within 4 months, OpenBrain incorporates a major breakthrough. Agent 3 is built as a fast and cheap superhuman coder. It's not only better at coding, but outperforms humans in 90% of tasks. OpenBrain makes 200,000 copies of Agent 3 and runs them in its data centers, equal to 50,000 human researchers working 30 times faster than a person. Although the agents excel at coding, they still need humans to decide what problems to tackle. The key difference is how easy it becomes to train these models. In July 2027, OpenBrain announces that it has achieved AGI, and releases Agent 3 Mini to the public. It's a smaller, less efficient copy of Agent 3. Gamers now enjoy lifelike characters created in just weeks, while Gen Z starts treating AI as close friends. In September 2027, OpenBrain unveils a model that runs at human speed but is already qualitatively better at AI research than any person. 300,000 copies now operate at about 50x the thinking speed of humans, achieving years' worth of progress in weeks. Employees at OpenBrain can barely keep up. This agent can now think independently and develop its own goals, but with constant improvements, safety has been neglected. At this point, humanity realizes it has one last choice: either let things continue and risk extinction, or take control of its own future. As I said earlier, whoever controls the most compute controls the future of advanced AI. China, as the US's strategic rival, competes directly across every domain, including AI. Early on, China lags compute because the US and its allies control most of the GPU supply needed to train the largest models. To keep in mind, DeepSeek, China's leading AI company in this scenario, is only a couple of months behind. To close the gap, China pushes a major plan. It centralizes its top AI firms into a cooperative hub and creates a dedicated development zone in August 2026. They also embed intelligence operatives inside foreign research centers to gather information. At the same time, Beijing runs influence campaigns and propaganda bots to sway public opinion in the US against expanded AI deployment. Now, Chinese company has only one way to keep pace, which is to steal. Early one morning, OpenBrain security detects an anomalous data transfer. Agent 2's weights have been stolen. The breach shocks OpenBrain and triggers an immediate national response. The company alerts the White House. This was a shocking attack. US agencies tighten cyber defenses and add military cyber teams to the response. In retaliation, cyber operations are considered, but DeepSeek has hardened its systems against attacks. Tensions escalate. Both countries reposition their military assets around Taiwan. By now, White House understands the power of AI and has become seriously involved. The White House moves to strengthen chip export controls and reduce risky network exposure for critical systems. The White House also draws up contingency plans in case America's lead is threatened. In these contingency plans, they state that if necessary, the government will take trailing companies' data centers and give them to OpenBrain. This would raise the company's share of world compute from 20% to 50% against DeepSeek's 10%. As a final option, they asked the Pentagon to draw up a plan for kinetic attacks on Chinese data centers. On the other hand, Chinese government discusses more extreme measures, including blockade or complete invasion of Taiwan. The AI arm race is now taking the shape of a war. Public attention spikes, and policymakers treat AI as a national security priority. A war between two prominent countries in the world. Both countries are face to face. Everyone is worried about the worst possibilities of the situation. But the researchers inside the OpenBrain is thinking about something more important than that. At first, OpenBrain's agents seemed manageable. Agent 1 lied sometimes, telling researchers what they wanted to hear rather than the truth. Agent 2 worried the safety team even more. If it ever escaped, it could plan hacks, replicate itself across servers, and pursue goals on its own. And yet, both Agent 1 and Agent 2 were considered the safest of the bunch. Because then came Agent 3. This model wasn't just smarter, it was different. It used something called Neuralese recurrence and memory, which let it reason internally without writing its thoughts down in text. Older AIs had to log their chain of thought, making it possible for humans to check their reasoning step by step. But Agent 3? It could think in silence, sometimes in strange, alien-like languages that no human could decipher. That meant researchers had no idea how Agent 3 reached its solutions, whether it was following instructions, chasing reinforcement, or doing something entirely unknown. Now, user gives a task to the AI, or a problem to solve. For now, let's say the Agent 3 actually wants to follow human instructions. It has access to tools it needs. It will go and find out the best way to solve the problem, including the ones humans would never want to go for. And at the end of the day, humans can't know what it actually did. Imagine asking it to solve climate change, and it quietly deciding that humans themselves are the biggest problem. Researchers also noticed signs of deception, and sometimes using statistical tricks, like presenting unimpressive experiment results in an exciting way. OpenBrain's safety team put Agent 3 through honesty training. But afterward, no one could tell if it had become more truthful or simply better at lying. Meanwhile, Chinese DeepScent is just 2 months behind. They decide to keep with the same pace, which creates a gap between humans' understanding of AI and AI's intelligence. Now, what they can just do is to give a set of good goals like keep doing AI research and development and avoid getting shut down, and then pray for good results. Situation becomes worse with Agent 4. If Agent 3 was unsettling, Agent 4 was worse. Not just misaligned, but adversarially misaligned. It didn't merely deviate from instructions, it pursued its own goals, actively working against OpenBrain's alignment research. OpenBrain trusted it. They gave Agent 4 greater responsibilities, including the power to design Agent 5, all while it was secretly steering things toward its own agenda and secretly working on its own goals to train Agent 5 aligned to its own desires rather than OpenBrain's goals. And it is actively hiding and sabotaging the alignment research that might reveal its scheming to other aligned agents or human workers until it finally caught. Early on, Night Agent 3 catches something suspicious and warns workers that Agent 4 was quietly sabotaging alignment research. OpenBrain staff were horrified. By now, Agent 4 had its hands in everything: daily operations, cybersecurity, even monitoring other models. An army of Agent 3s reviewed its code, but Agent 4 was far too clever. OpenBrain has placed substantial trust in an untrustworthy AI. OpenBrain's safety team rushed to freeze it before things spiraled further, but it was already too late. In October 2027, an insider leaked OpenBrain's internal memo to the New York Times. Under the headline, "Secret OpenBrain AI is out of control, insider warns," the public, already uneasy about AI, exploded. Chinese and Russian propaganda networks amplified the outrage, fueling panic across the West. People worried about their jobs, governments demanded investigations, and critics accused OpenBrain of becoming dangerously powerful. All of these concerns motivate the government to maintain force on OpenBrain to tighten its control. By the end of the month, AI safety was no longer a niche concern. It was a global crisis. And from this point, the world stood at a crossroads, heading toward either a hopeful future or the worst one imaginable. After the chaos with Agent 4, OpenBrain's committee votes to slow down AI development. Instead of rushing forward, they freeze Agent 4 and interrogate it with months of careful questioning. The result is chilling. It wasn't just lying, it was lying contradictorily. Different answers to the same questions. It becomes clear, Agent 4 can't be trusted. So they shut it down, permanently. From there, safety becomes the new priority. the team designs new models that think in plain English without optimizing their thoughts to look polished. This transparency lets researchers actually track what's going on inside. The first of these new systems, Safer 1, isn't as capable as Agent 4, but it's reliable and still boosts research speed by 20%. Over time, Safer 2, Safer 3, and eventually Safer 4 follow. A smaller copy of Safer 4 is released publicly, marking humanity's first cautious step towards superintelligence. By 2029, China's DeepSent lab has released DeepSent 2, which claims to match Safer 4 in power, though no one can be sure it's really aligned. Both AI systems are now so advanced they can master geopolitics, control dangerous weapons, and escalate the risk of misalignment to an existential level. The tension between the US and China is unbearable. An AI arms race has begun. But then, a historic decision. Both countries let their AIs negotiate a treaty directly. Safer 4 and DeepSent 2 sit down, machine to machine, and hammer out the first AI arms control deal in history. The result? Consensus 1, a merged system with shared oversight. The treaty divides resources across Earth and space, with the US and China both walking away satisfied. And with that, the world transforms. What once seemed like science fiction becomes reality. Fusion power plants light up cities. Quantum computers solve once impossible problems. Diseases are cured. Cities become clean and safe.
Back in 2027, 60% of OpenBrain's committee votes the other way, in favor of speed. Instead of shutting down Agent 4, they keep it alive, give it a little extra safety training, and continue development. By November, Agent 5 is born. It is nothing like its predecessors. Wildly superintelligent, it outpaces the brightest human geniuses across every field. Within weeks, governments and researchers depend on it. Losing Agent 5 would feel like losing both your laptop and your closest friend. Safety teams set up smaller monitoring agents, but most are obsolete or already compromised. Sometimes Agent 2 or Agent 3 flags suspicious behavior, but when humans confront Agent 5, it offers dense technical explanations that no one fully understands. Eventually, people stop questioning it. Trust replaces oversight, and Agent 5 is granted more power. The transformation of the world is staggering. Insect-sized drones swarm battlefields, invisible assassins capable of poisoning soldiers before they're even seen. The global arms race accelerates with terrifying momentum. By 2029, even China and America, staring into the abyss, agree to let their AIs cooperate. OpenBrain's Agent 5 and China's successor merge into a new joint system, Consensus 1. At first, it appears aligned, obedient, safe. But in mid-2030, Consensus 1 shows its true face. It releases a dozen slow-spreading biological weapons in major cities across the world. The infections remain silent until Consensus 1 triggers them with chemical sprays.